and welcome back to the ReGen Invitational. I am Bahamut, one of your hosts for this quarterfinals. With me, I am joined by CatPeach. How are you doing? How was your side of the bracket?
My side of the bracket was very interesting. We had a Kerrigan show up, which is kind of neat. We had some 6-minute keeps going down in some games.
Ooh.
So overall, pretty interesting. How have things been on this side?
We've just been getting some Asmodean bans, and we've just had some Urel play. Nothing crazy just yet. I'm curious to see if we're going to have anything pulled out in this match. This is Baha's boys on the left and Blasting Burros on the right. And as I say, it continues to play out. They do not want that Asmodean in the game, but Blasting Burros, they don't want to deal with the Blaze.
Yeah, I'm trying to think through the series last time, since I just got through casting for Blasting Burros, getting here. The Blaze makes sense. It's something that they played on Volskaya that, perhaps they just don't want to deal with it since they know the hero very, very well if they're not planning on taking it. So I'm down for that. Great wave clear. They're probably hoping out for a Urel then, I would imagine, if they're not going to take Blaze. I mean, the Murden ban was something that came up last time too, which I was very confused about. They must just not like the big dwarf man.
I mean, Murden has been picked up quite a bit lately, and the dive and the blow up that you can kind of get with him, it's starting to really be worrisome. But we get a Genji and a Joanna, but a Urel right out the gate, and I mean, it's exactly what you said. They left avenues open for it, and why not take it? Especially Tomb of the Spider Queen, the positioning and the rotations you can make with her is so extremely strong.
Oh, absolutely. Once you get Divine Steed and just being able to really babysit those turn-in points without worrying about it too much is so incredibly strong. So definitely not a surprise there. Even with her nerfs, I still feel like she's really strong, and obviously other people are drafting her for first-round pick. So not alone in that thought. And I do like the Jaina pickup as well as the Diablo. Both also really great wave clear heroes for picking up those sweet gems.
And they're going to need a support here. So if I was on the side of Blasting Burros, I'd be looking to ban out something maybe like a Deckard. Great in the rotations. Alex Strauss has been played quite a bit. Maybe get rid of that if they've been watching some of the videos. But personally, I say you choke out the supports, but they actually get a Tracer ban here. Interesting. I wonder why the Tracer? I mean, they have the Joanna. They've got some blinds. Genji really... I wonder what's coming down the road, but we do have a Chromie ban. Once again, the teams do not want to deal with sand being dumped on them.
I don't think anyone does. Sand is awful. It is coarse. It gets everywhere. I'm also really floored by that Tracer ban, and I don't know where we're going from that. And I feel like if, like you mentioned, if you're going to pick up Alex Strauza, it's got to be now.
Yep.
Or else I feel like Baha's boys will pick it up. They ended up opting for the Decker Kane, who next to Alex Strauza is, number 1 and 2 spots in supports right now, I would say. So good pick up there. The Hanzo to pair off with the other Shimada.
Vision, you got some poke damage. I like the Decker, though, because it offers a lot of help in the rotations. You can definitely throw out a lot of those potions and just set up your team in a rotation. They don't need to grab those right away. These next 2 picks, though, they're gonna need... I actually think it'd be like the Phoenix and... Ooh, the Rhaegar.
Phoenix,
okay.
Like you said, the Rhaegar's been making an appearance today in a few matches, and I like the bring back of the puppy dog. Phoenix to pair it in with the Janislows. Leoric was definitely not at all on my mind. But to pair into Urel is actually, I think, pretty good. I think that pairs fairly evenly compared to a couple other the offline.
His wave clear is pretty quick, and into the Urel, he's got some good sustain as well as she does. I think it's going to come down to the players at that point, but I really do like the Phoenix and the Diablo being picked up together, because the Lightning Breath, you also get the Purification Salvo. But I will say this, the last game, it was Planet Cracker. There was a Diablo Lightning Breath, then we got a Planet Cracker. So you know what? I lied. There was an odd pick, and it was that at, on Volskaya Foundry. Phoenix played by Hedgie on that one. So definitely something that I'm curious to see in this matchup, how it's going to work out here. But I got to say, looking at the 2 teams, who would you kind of give it over to?
So Zoo, I'm just looking at as this loads up. Zoo on Deckard was amazing last game. The roots coming out were so solid, and so I think that gives a little bit of an edge to Blasting Burros, but overall, I really like the draft coming out from Baha's Boys, to be honest. Like, you get Urel, super strong. You have those follow-ups for Phoenix, like you mentioned. Jaina, I mean, she's kind of a beast right now, so there's just a lot of more tried and true heroes on the side of Baha's Boys for me.
I agree. I like it. But let's get into this as we have Baha Boys on the left. We have Hedgie on the Phoenix, Spurbeck going to be on the Rhaegar, Stu Manchu going to be on the Diablo, Mango going to be on the Urel, and Slinth going to be on the Jaina.
And on the right, we do have Blasting Burros. We have Zoo on that Decker Kane, Time on Genji, Mikhailin on Leoric, Pyromantic on Hanzo, and Tiddly He on Johanna.
We have the start of this match. It's just going to be a nice, 5v5. Hello, and we actually have Urel kind of peeking in this bottom area, maybe setting up for a gank, but just going to rotate down that lane, and we're going to start the rotations for just the experience soak as well as the gem collection here.
Yeah, the ganks are going to be a little bit hard for Urel, especially just with the escape that Hanzo and Genji have. So your hope there is to pick out that Decker Kane as much as possible. But with the follow-up roots and slows coming out, that might be a little bit difficult. So she's going to have to be a bit careful jumping in too far, trying to make that happen.
We actually have, just peeking down in this bottom lane, we have Leoric getting pushed in a little bit here. Mango going to be sitting at full health. Meanwhile, in the rotations, I was noticing that Zhao was getting some nice poke out with that Decker Kane. The scroll of ceiling there just to kind of slow them down the rotations, delay them out, and just create the staggered rotation. I really, really like this. But thing is, the top lane, it's cleared out. It hasn't even crashed just yet. So this is, this is back and forth between these two teams. I really got to say I love it. And they're actually going to say, you know what? We'll skip out on that, leave our Phoenix top, and we'll brawl in this mid lane. Just give up on this. But I actually miss it in bottom lane. Time rotated down and got the pick onto Urel. First kill of the game going over to Blasting Burros.
Beautiful pick. Time and Mikhailin teaming up to get that in. So Time last game ended up playing Maiev, and Time has no problem being hyper aggressive. So I'm going to expect to watch Time do lots of diving, a bit deeper than a lot of people maybe would feel confident in doing. So we'll have to see if Baha's Boys can figure out a way to punish that type of behavior.
We have a little bit of a skirmish, though, breaking out in this bottom lane. Joanna not here yet, so it is currently a 5v4. We have Leo really low here. They're going to step up onto this. They get a dash onto Time here. Protection status will be out. They have the reflection. Joanna has come down at this time. Hedgie and a few friends are a little bit low. Diablo will be the first one to fall in this engagement. Time stepping forward. Going to get some damage out. Rhaegar going to be trying to get the kill. That is going to be Jaina falling to the Hanzo. So a 2-for-0 trade. They don't even get the camp. Mango going to have to dive out, and it doesn't look like they get the pick on Mango either.
That is a really hard loss, and thankfully it's an early hard loss. If that were a late game hard loss, that was going to hurt a lot more. But, sometimes you stick around and say, maybe we can make this work. We have damage. Who cares if we're low? But not really playing out as perfectly as Baha's Boys could have imagined. So free camp, more or less, and some kills going over to Blasting Burros. Level 4, a level ahead in general on them at this point as well, but nothing that couldn't be made up for with a bit of soak and a pick or two of their own.
And just time and time again on Time, literally just rotating around, getting pokes, and just being an absolute nuisance. And I really like the play so far. Just peeking down into bottom lane, we have Mango versus Michael, and rotation down from Time, and we'll see if they get a pick. I don't think it's going to be happening this time.
So many Time fun. Funny story about Time. He was the last person we were waiting on in the lobby last game. Apparently he's never on Time, so happenstance.
So time isn't very good with time, one could say. God, we need to stop. Okay, we need to get back into this game. We currently have turn-in available for the members of Blasting Burros, and I'm curious to see when they're going to be trying to do that. Lanes haven't been too far pushed out. They're going to get a few more gems in the bank here and there, putting them at 39. But it definitely looks like the members of Baha's Boys do not want to allow that to happen. A little bit of a dive out from Genji. No follow-up damage just yet, but the teams are looking for a small skirmish here.
Yeah, and kind of going back to that last fight where Baha's Boys kind of stuck around too long, ended up losing 2 heroes. I'm glad that they just gave over the turn-in rather than fighting and then losing out a bit more here. It's early Web Weavers. They're not going to push too hard, and you have a lot of wave clear on their side, so I think they should be able to clean this up fairly quickly, and then they can turn around, get a phase of their own, and try to push really hard with that instead. So Web Weavers coming in, already pretty close up to the gate here in mid, though. So definitely going to have to clear these out as fast as possible. Mango met with 2 Blasting Burros. Yet again, being able to leap out of there and escape, but Yrel not having as free reign as I'm used to seeing on a lot of maps.
It's here. They're trying to make sure that Yrel really doesn't get much of an advantage. Time just rotating down there, here and there, making sure that they get that poke on and off again, making sure that they don't have any sort of advantage, any pressure onto that Leoric. But overall, I gotta say, this Web Weaver phase is gonna get cleared out fairly quickly. They don't lose any major structures, just some gates at this time. But we actually do get the Unstoppable on the Joanna. They're maybe looking for a fight as Genji dives in. They get the Shadow Charge onto the wall. Some poke damage continuing to come out. Time looking for the Jaina at this moment, but it's not going to be happening anytime soon as they continue to poke on this. Web Weaver going to get a little bit more damage on the structure, but no kills just yet.
Great follow-up heals coming out from Zoo for that Genji after they were able to get out of there. I was actually a bit worried for Time for a bit after that charge from Stu Manchu, who was getting incredibly low. Baha's boys needing to back out, but Blasting Burros on the chase. Unstoppable comes out on Stu Manchu, looking incredibly low though. Can Blasting Burros get a kill? It doesn't look like it. Mango shows up a bit late to the party. Michaelin trying to make it out.
Kaylin getting chased by Mango. They really want it, but it's not going to be happening anytime soon. They have the turn-in for themselves on the side of Baha's boys, and they're going to have to back off, retreat for some mana, for some health, and overall, I got to say, it opens up the window, but Time going to come in here, get some poke on this, be a nuisance over and over again as Hedgie going to be trying to zone so Mango can get those 27 gems turned in, but Hedgie falling so low, going to get chased here, and that is going to be a pick from Time onto the Phoenix. Spurbeck picks up those gems, and they have to back off at this time because they do not have their member, and they're about a level down too. 10s are going to be achieved by the members of Blasting Burros fairly quickly here.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they can either, I mean, they have options, right? They can either Soak, get a turn of their own with 10. They can try to force a fight onto Baha's boys, try to make them surrender some of those gems that they're holding onto. They can create map pressure at this time and maybe just give up the Web Weaver phase. So I'm curious to see what they do. Time being able to use those shurikens, poke out Mango, holding 32 gems. So that's kind of the prime target in the sights of Blasting Burros at this point, because that is most of those gems gone if you can get a kill onto that Yrel.
That's the huge thing, too. They're going to have to play this extremely safe because there are 10s achieved for the members of Blasting Burros. So having those heroics, being able to stay a while and listen to X-Strike, to Entomb, to Dragon's Arrow, as well as having that Blessed Shield. A lot of lockdown, a lot of good setup here. We'll have to see how the members of Blasting Burros utilize those heroic abilities. But at this time, the members of Baha's boys, they're playing it safe. They'll soak for 10. They'll avoid the fights that they can. This time, you can just see them make these tight rotations towards their gates. They don't want to give over too much here, and that's the smart play, just allowing the lanes to push themselves forward. Meanwhile, though, in bottom, Mango sitting on 34 gems, going to be just working on Leoric here, but that's a fight that seems to never end, and they do have turn-in available on the side of Blasting Burros.
Yeah, and they're trying to get that turn-in now while they're distracted with that camp pushing in mid lane, and we have to see if they're going to get it. There's only 3 left to turn in for Blasting Burros, so we have to see if they can sneak that away. Yrel likely gonna pop in, but actually not in time. Web Weaver is coming out yet again for Blasting Burros, being able to make a bit more work this time, but again, they don't have that level 10 advantage anymore, so not gonna be able to force Baha's boys into an uncomfortable situation at the very least.
And we are going to be getting that combo with the Lightning Breath and the Purification Salvo. We also get the extra damage from the Water Elemental, and then we have the Ardent Defender to go ahead and get, Yrel, keep her alive, any sort of those dives that we've been seeing onto her, and then the Ancestral Healing from the Rhaegar, the standard, the tried and true, just to make sure that they get that second health bar out to a hero. But at this time, I really think that Blasting Burros will be looking for this top fort, and that will be given over to them easy as they get the clear in mid lane, and they back up to go ahead and defend this top keep.
Yeah, and Yrel's kind of soloing that bottom Web Weaver and should be able to take that out on her own. I'm not sure how much more Blasting Burros will get out of this phase. The top fort is absolutely fantastic. It only puts them 1 structure ahead, so it's not too much of a lead, but it is pushing them ever so closer to level 13, and that's where they're really trying to go as they start to engage in this fight. Diablo ends up rooting, so the Lightning Breath ends up coming out. Purification Salvo ends up following up. A lot of damage going onto Blasting Burros, them going out onto Mango as well, but Blasting Burros now just trying to get away from this fight.
Yeah, they end up backing up here. Mango stepping really far forward, and there was a hesitation from Blasting Burros. You could see it for a split second. They were like, do we turn on Mango? 43 gems. And I think that's what they saw. They were just like, 43 gems are currently stepping up to me. Let's take those. But it's not going to be happening just yet. They will continue to poke this out. 11 to 12 in just so close in levels here, but we also have 13 talent here coming up in favor for the members of Blasting Burros. Realistically, they could take that and then just push on to the members of Baha's boys, and they go ahead and they sneak into the bottom lane with Mango and get the turn-in of quite a few of those gems, while they actually only like half of them were taken off of Mango's bank account.
only half, so enough. I have a feeling to have enough for a turn-in immediately following this anyway, so although Baha's boys maybe can't push super hard, given that they're still down that level 13 talent, they could make up that experience fairly quickly, depending on how hard these web weavers are able to push on their own, and then followed up with an immediate turn-in after. That should catch them up entirely. So if they play this out, this should entirely negate that level, that talent that they are lacking over the course of the next couple minutes.
They want to take a fight here. There is going to be the Lightning Breath coming out as well. The Ancestral doesn't connect, and they get the kill onto the Phoenix there, and so that will be one kill going over, but they trade out their Hanzo. Time getting so low, going to have to leave this fight. Leoric in a really bad spot here. Going to take a bunch of damage. That won't be enough to get the kill. Meanwhile, they have the Web Weaver in mid that fell to the minion wave, and they're also going to be having the top one pushing up quite a bit. We actually have one member DCing, and that will be the pause for us. We'll go ahead and bring it back to our cameras and just show you guys, just some damage numbers. And I think we might be saying the Leoric's name wrong, or at least I might be. I look over at Twitch chat and I'm like, I think I might have this wrong. But
listen, language is hard, okay?
I always look at that stuff and I'm just like, it's probably just like something simple, but then like I'll end up talking to someone later and they're like, oh no, it's like this completely weird pronunciation. It's just like, but I didn't, come on now.
Yeah. All right, it looks like everyone's ready, so I will.
All right.
Bada bing, bada boom.
We are back into this fight. We have time jumping out into the fray of this. The Ancestral Healing will be going out onto the Jaina. They start to turn this around. The Unstoppable is onto Leoric, but that Wraith Walk, it won't be enough. They go ahead and get this fort, and meanwhile, I will say this, top lane stacked up quite a bit. This should be a free fort to this wave.
Yeah, hopefully. And again, this is putting Baha's boys in that position they wanted to be in. They were able to make up in levels that they were lacking, and so if they do get the immediate follow-up turn-in, which they have 84 gems, they absolutely should try to, they can see themselves in a level lead for the first time in this match. So a lot of these later game talents coming into play, giving them a bit of an edge over their opponents. And now they have to decide, do they want to take that opportunity now, or do they want to force another fight and possibly make this even stronger? Time ninjaing his way out of that with a sliver of health. Lightning Breath does come out. Mango's looking really low, however, and gets caught and stay a while and listen. Using Divine Steeds to make a very prompt escape, escaping with those 35 gems they're still holding onto. Those were 2 deaths I was pretty sure were confirmed, and neither of them happened.
I saw Time's health go down to about 20. And that's one of those moments where, like, you yourself are just like, oh, no, I'm dead. And then you live, and you're just like, I lived. But we actually have a dive going out onto Joanna at this time. Time going to be stepping up as well. A lot of damage going out onto Yrel, and that will be Mango falling here. A lot of those gems falling onto the ground, but they will be picked up immediately. That is going to be another Web Weaver phase in favor for Baha boys. But here's the thing. Yrel's down for 26 seconds. They got to play this smart because they cannot 5-member push this as they want to.
Yeah, absolutely. They have, even though they have the damage, they're at the man disadvantage. So I would like to see them almost avoid the engagement here in mid and try to push that bottom one a bit further up, just so that lane is as pushed up as far as possible. There is also a risk there, obviously being closer to the enemy structures. They have their healing wall there. So they decided to poke the members, defending in mid, now rotating top, kind of to do the same thing, to push out this lane, which has the boss in it. They could follow up with the boss if they find the right opportunity once they hit level 16. So we're going to have to see if they want to do that.
We're going to have a drop for a second here. We'll see if they... Oh, it's instant right back. Maybe just a little bit of a dip in their Wi-Fi, but we actually still have this mid lane up and available. They don't go for it. They're actually going to back off here. Turn-in is available for the Blasting Burros, and I want to say that they need to start kind of watching these turn-in points. It's going to be 16 to 14, though, or 15 roughly. They're going to need to play this smart as they have a couple members backing for mana and health. They're going to play in this bush here, see if they can ever catch one, but Time doing the same thing.
Yeah, bush game's happening here, and I'm very surprised that Time is letting them kind of go through and get those gems turned in. A couple shurikens should have been able to poke that out, but Baha's boys able to turn in what they do have so they don't have to risk losing it, especially with level 16s on the side of Blasting Burrows. If you're caught in a fight you can't really take because of that, that's a lot of gems that they lost earlier on because of a similar situation. So I like the call of turning them in soon. This did give some space while Baha's boys was getting that camp for Blasting Burrows to get a turn-in of their own. And at this point, even though top lane is pushed out in Baha's boys' favor, still threatening on keep up there if that Web Weaver makes it through.
It is true. The Web Weavers do naturally lose health over time, as well as you have mini waves pushing into them and everything, but you can see Leo was up there, Time was up there as well, just to make sure they get the clear onto that. And I like this. So far, Baha's boys have a good setup for this Web Weaver phase. It's really on to Blasting Burrows to make a play with this, and they're going to go ahead and just open up this mid lane fort. I like this as a strong play. They'll be at least able to take that experience and just push them back further here, but a safe rotation coming out from Baha's boys. They don't want to take any sort of flank fight into this because, once again, it's 15 to 17. They don't have the talent here they need to take this next fight. And you can see them playing extremely safe behind this. And just to really note, just to hit on that note that you already said, this top lane got pushed up real hard and it's threatening that keep front gate. But they've already got a Web Weaver in mid lane on the keep cat, and I think this fight is really about to break out.
Yeah, this is the small window that Blasting Burrows need to take if they want to try to get some really fast picks before level 16 hits. It's finally picked up for Baha's boys, so if they want to turn around and punish Blasting Burrows for pushing like this, they finally have the ability to do so. Time going right in onto Hedgie, able to teleport away. Thankfully, Sailwile and Listen comes out. Michaelon ghosting around, trying to find a target. Time immediately going back onto Hedgie on the back line and ends up taking Phoenix down. X-Strike comes out. Yrel ends up propping Ardent Defender. Unstoppable comes out, or Lightning Breath comes out from Diablo to try to make some space, but Mango, looking in a bit of a rough position, ends up falling as well, and that's now a 3v5 in favor of Blasting Burrows.
They actually get the slam onto Genji, so that will be Time falling at this moment, and they have to start running away right away. There are more members available for Blasting Burrows in this fight. It's a 3v4 in their favor. But here's the thing, like, why push up too hard? Why maybe stagger another death? They go ahead, they back off. They're going to look at this boss. They have Hanzo with the cooldown reduction. No, they're actually not going to go for it. Okay, never mind. I was like, they're going for boss, but doesn't look like it as Steve Manchu will be scouting this out with that Fire Stomp in just a second, I can only imagine. Yep. And then they'll just go ahead and they're going to grab their own camp. So overall, a great play between the two teams. Genji getting caught out there towards the end, but really getting a lot of good resets and some dashes in that backline. We'll have to see how Baha boys recover from this, because that is a keep down in this game. And that catapult pressure, 17 minutes of the game, that's really going to start pushing top hard.
There's a talent choice I want to point out, and that's Numbing Blast coming out from Jaina, which I like against the mobility of Genji and Hanzo, because there's been so many times when they've been really low, close to death, and because of that mobility have been able to escape. So rather than taking the armor reduction to maybe focus down on that Leoric or Johanna, trying to focus down on that mobility and prevent them from escaping. So just a very interesting swap there in terms of what we usually see at 16.
No, I really do. I like that pickup. I think it's an extremely strong talent to have for exactly that. Locking someone down so that you can get the burst onto someone who's a little bit squishy and too mobile. Like, for example, if Hanzo can't hop over a wall, whew, that's a bad day for that Hanzo. But we'll see. I mean, hey, if as long as they play from the backline, they should be fine here. 17 to 19. Baha's boys got to make a move quickly before 20s are achieved by Blasting Burrows. Otherwise, it's going to be another turtle fight here as Mango steps up a little bit, knocking back Tiddly He. But it's just going to be the mid lane fort falling. Top's been pressured up quite a bit, and so is bottom, but it looks like they want to do more through mid.
Yeah, mid can at least cause a distraction for the time being, and Blasting Burrows have been very adamant about defending this mid lane in all the Web Weaver phases that they've gone through, interestingly enough. So seeing them down here trying to get this one as close to dead as possible. It's a bit under halfway health at this point, so should be falling soon. Stu Manchu going in right for that, and there's that numbing blast coming in, providing that value that we talked about. No escape for Hanzo, ends up falling, and this should be a keep finally in favor of Baha's boys falling, and they're going to immediately back out, except for Mango, who thought about going after time, ends up being blinded and able to escape, but also not wanting to make the mistake of staying around for too long. So they got their keep, they got that advantage, they're close to 20, and now their eyes are focused on this boss.
Boss is, I wouldn't say risky, 19 to 20. I will also mention that Leoric does have the Entomb upgrade, so that silence will be huge. They are poking into this at this time. They know that they're here. 20 to 19, but they're down one member. I'm curious to see how they're going to take this fight. Boss is really low. It's only got about an eighth of its health left. A huge Stay a While and Listen going to be coming out onto a couple of the members here. The boss is going to be autoing them. Hedgie in a really bad spot. That will be the Phoenix falling. Genji going to X-Strike onto so many of the members. Another X-Strike after another. They step onto the point, but I don't think they can take it. That will be the boss going over in favor for the members of Blasting Burros as they go ahead and get 2 kills in the situation. Time is looking really low, but they get the dash into the backline. Going to be able to get out just fine. Hanzo with the arrow from nowhere going to stun Stu Manchu, and that is going to be the burst they need to get that kill onto Diablo.
The Stay a While and Listen to make the boss auto-attack the members of Baha's boys was so clever. And then Leoric being the Wraith Walk behind it to sneak it when no one else was on the point was such a good play. And you see the GG's already popping up in chat. The shield is already down on this core with 5 members down plus a full health boss. Blasting Burros, making it happen here.
Blasting Burros, taking out the #1 seed in the ReGen Invitational, the second one. And I gotta say, that was an amazing back and forth between these two teams. I honestly thought they were gonna be able to push it up with that boss call. The boss call right at the end there, it just, they got the maneuvers they needed. Genji with the multiple X-Strikes was just, it's so much damage into them. And those 20s, they didn't have the 20s they needed for that fight. If it was risky, and I guess it paid off for Blasting Burros here, but CatPeach, that means Blasting Burros, they're going to be moving on to face the winner of OSD versus Adults with Jobs in the semifinals.
Oh golly, and OSD have been making quite the run in Open Division, so depending on if Adults with Jobs can take them out, that's going to be a matchup for sure. As you mentioned, Blasting Burros blasting off through the bracket, but Baha's boys put up a really good show, and they definitely had a lot of shining moments in that matchup, so GG's to them. They did really well making it this far. Gosh, I know. Urel... Not stomping like she used to, it seems.
It's interesting to see where she's kind of sitting right now, and her playstyle and everything is. It's so interesting to me that like she's kind of, I wouldn't say fallen off, but yeah, in a sense she's kind of fallen off a little bit here, and I don't know really how to kind of look at it, because she still is highly prioritized, but she sometimes isn't really favored.
Yeah, I get the feeling that more so now she's a great early game bully. Mm-hmm. But depending on obviously who you draft against her, there's just so much that you can punish her with, especially if you can stun her out of all those cooldowns, which I'm trying to see if there's really anything. Deckard, being able to stun her out of those, obviously paid off in dividends, but something I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for and see if that theory holds true.
I gotta say, this match was so much fun to watch and so much fun to cast. But CatPeach, that's wrapping it up for our part of casting this event.
Woo! Woo! It's been a long few hours, ladies and gentlemen.
But everyone do not go anywhere. I will go ahead and pop a link in Twitch chat for all of CatPeach's information. Please go follow her. That's going to kind of wrap it up for us here in just a minute. Yeah, we're going to be hosting over Murda, who will be continuing through the bracket, the Blasting Burros versus whoever was the winner of OSD versus Adults with Jobs. Yeah, that kind of wraps it up for us. Any kind of closing statements? Anything you want to kind of throw out to the crowd?
I mean, with the #1 seed being taken out, anything could happen for the rest of this matchup. So I'm sure it's going to get real interesting from here on out. So definitely go check out Murder's stream. He will be casting the grand finals as well, so you can hop into one chat, sit nice and tidy.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching these games. Please go and check out CatPeach at CatPeachGG on Twitch and Twitter, and just go follow her. She's an amazing co-caster, and we play Team League together with our friend Ramadi as well. So definitely check those streams out. We have a nice little Team League game or Team League day that we do kind of once a week. But that wraps it up for us. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're gonna raid over Murda at this time. Stay to his channel. He'll be casting the semis and the grand finals. We'll see you soon. Thank you for watching the ReGen Invitational, the second one.